Hello and welcome to another edition of SPS Spotlight. I'm Azell Cavaan, Chief Communications Officer for Springfield Public Schools. Thank you for joining us. Today we are talking with Sylvia deHaas, who is the Senior Vice President at the United Way of Pioneer Valley. Thank you for joining us, Sylvia.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much, Azell.
We're glad to have you to talk about this. Springfield Public Schools and the United Way have partnered up for an initiative which we call Stay in School. And hopefully you are very familiar with that because it has been posted around the city for some time now. And we're going to talk with Sylvia to find out a little bit more of what's behind this campaign, what it means, and give you all out there some tips to make sure that your children stay in school and show up every day. And I also want to say, make sure you tune in after our interview because we're going to have some special information for our families out there with young kids in school. So stick with us after this. Good.
Sounds great.
Stay in school.
Yeah.
And then the tagline is,
show up every day. It matters.
And United Way has been helping the Springfield Public School Department get this message out throughout the community.
Correct.
Not only you guys have brought in a whole slew of other partners to help get the message out.
We have, and we've been very, very excited to be a part of this campaign with the Springfield Public Schools, and as Azell said, with all of our community partners.
Yes.
Because we just know how important it is for kids to show up to school.
To show up every day.
The data is incredibly strong.
Yes.
In terms of what that really means for kids' ability to do well.
Now, there's so many things that you all could have sort of focused on in terms of education, but you focused on attendance. You wanted to, focus on making sure the message gets out there.
Correct.
A simple message, show up every day. How did you all figure out that's the message that we want to work with?
Well, I think it's because, we're very committed to education programming itself and all the types of supports that kids need. But again, as I said earlier, the data is just so strong about how important school attendance really is and what it really means to a young person. Not just in terms of their ability to do well at school, but really their ability to do well in life.
Absolutely. And so over the past couple of years now, there has been an initiative. One of the things that takes place in the schools is called an attendance trophy.
Correct. And we've been very excited to work very closely with Azell and the public schools about that. I think we've done it for 2 years now.
We have. We've done
and so
five rounds, I think?
I think so. Yeah, something like that. So what we like to do is really recognize schools in 2 different ways. One, the schools that have had the best attendance, but also those schools that have had the most improved attendance, because it tells you a lot about what's going on in the school and how important the faculty and the staff and the parents really know how important school is. And so we've started with elementary, middle, and high school, but this year we decided to add pre-K as well.
Pre-K.
Pre-K.
The earliest, the youngest kids.
Correct, because actually pre-K attendance is an incredible indicator about what's going to happen later. Some people don't really, some people don't really believe, well, pre-K doesn't seem that important. It's critical in terms of young people. And really starting good attendance habits as early as possible.
As early as possible. So this year you said you just started with the pre-K.
We did.
And so our first pre-K schools that got recognized were Warner and Milton Bradley.
Correct.
Right? I think Warner had the highest?
They did.
Yes.
And Milton Bradley had the most improved.
Had the most improved. And I know you have some figures that the school department shared with you about preschool attendance overall.
Overall, as a matter of fact, the numbers are incredibly great. There's 2 things that we really measure. One is average daily attendance, which means how often kids go to school, but we also look at something called chronic absence. In some ways, that's a really, really critical number. Right? In terms of what that means, because chronically absent, and you can help clarify this for me, I think it means that if you miss 10% or more.
Exactly.
Which could actually mean 1.5 days per month.
Per month, which when you break it down, you realize, you may not think that holding your child home 1 day a month is adding up to very much.
But it does.
It's considered not only, chronic, like they're chronically absent, which is a problem which could lead to being held back in school.
That's correct. That's correct. And so my understanding is that the chronic attendance numbers have gone down significantly in the last year, from 36% to 14.6%.
That's huge. That deserves a round of applause.
And that's only just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what the attendance numbers have looked like for the Springfield Public Schools over the last 2 to 3 years.
That's right.
Right now you're at 93%.
Yes, which is the highest.
The district has ever had.
Absolutely.
And so we're pretty convinced that a lot of things that the district are doing are having a significant impact.
Well,
and we're very
yes.
happy to partner on the public education component of
Well,
it.
we think that has been the missing piece for all of these years, and there has been a lot of work to really augment the process by which absent students are chronicled, are listed, their parents are contacted, there's now visits that go home, there's a
Correct.
whole system involved, but there was always that one missing piece, and now we have organizations like the United Way and all of the organizations
Right.
partnering with us talking about things like chronic absenteeism and how important it is. So it's not only coming from the school, but it's coming from the community.
And it's sort of, and as Azell alluded to, it really is a community-wide effort. And one of the things that we've really tried to focus on is sort of some positive messaging.
Yes.
Around why attendance is so important. I mean, there's a
Right.
lot of information out there about why, if you don't go to school, what's going to happen.
Right.
And I think a lot of us are often aware of the problems, but we're not always necessarily aware about the benefits about doing
benefits.
something.
Right,
And so
right.
we've really tried to, to reconnect the campaign in a much more positive way.
And I know that there's a whole new campaign cycle starting up, right?
That's right. And as a
Right.
matter of fact, starting April 15th through June 15th, we're going to do a 2-month media campaign, both traditional and social media, where we'll be educating families and other caring adults and young people as well
Right.
about, not only why it's important to go to school, but, sort of basic things that people sometimes don't understand, like what really are the approved absences.
Right.
Sometimes people are a little bit confused about that.
Let's talk about what
And
they
so
are.
I think we should talk about that. Exactly.
Let's do that.
So these are really the 5, from what I understand,
Yep.
approved absences from the Springfield Public School System. I'm going to put them as simple as possible. A student illness. Obviously, if they're ill,
Yep.
they shouldn't go to school.
Right. Yep.
If they have a medical appointment, although what we do encourage families to do is to make those medical appointments either at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, so that the child can come to school and not miss the whole entire day
Great
of
tip.
school. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A death in the family, observance of a religious holiday, that's important to the family.
That may not be on the school
That might not be on the school
right?
calendar, exactly. And a student court appearance. Often, we've been told that sometimes families need their students to translate for them.
Yeah.
And so we also have a lot of good tips around what families might be able to do to provide other community resources to help them and do
Good.
that kind of thing.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So really providing hands-on, just simple tips
Exactly.
to keep kids in school.
Yeah. And
So
one of the
good.
most important things to remind people about as well is just to make sure that the school has your correct phone number.
Absolutely good information. to
Yeah, and
have.
so this is the way that you can make sure your number is updated. You can either go into the Springfield Public School Parent Portal, which I think most parents have access
Have
to
access to,
for their
absolutely.
child, or you can call the Student Assignment Service Desk, and I'm going to give you the phone number just in case you don't have it.
Yeah.
787-7276 or 787-6959. Again, it is critically important that the school have your new number. Many of us change our numbers on our cell phones and
lot,
things like that a
right,
lot.
right.
And so I often have to be reminded as well
Keep that
to do that.
information
Exactly.
current, right? And that Student Assignment Services is at 91 School Street. So you got
Correct.
the telephone numbers, and now you also have the address.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So Sylvia, tell me a little bit more about some of the other things that United Way is involved in. I know so much about the Stay in School campaign.
Of course.
But you guys do so much else.
We do. I think a lot of people understand United Way as being an organization that funds different programs, and we certainly do that both in Springfield and really all the towns within Hampton County. Actually in South Hadley and Granby as well. We have a little relationship because of the merger of United Way and Springfield with Holyoke like 10 years ago. So we do funding, of course, but we really have 4 strategies that we use to really implement our goals, and we have very specific indicators that we measure, and that's really around what we call grant making. We're very involved in volunteer engagement. So we do one of the biggest volunteer engagement, if not the largest, in our region every year. It's called Day of Caring.
And we have had school classrooms painted,
Yeah.
gardens planted, all kinds of things on that
Yeah,
day.
exactly. We also do this really exciting thing called Youth Generate, of which Springfield Public Schools is a partner, as well as other schools throughout the region, where young people are really encouraged to get involved in community service. And so they pick their own community service project, and they implement it based on what they think that their town needs.
Great.
And a whole host of other kinds of things. And Stay in School is just one example of some of the community initiatives that we're involved in. One of the things that we're doing that we're very, very excited about is that we have what's called a one-stop financial center.
Okay.
So what those are, and the easiest way to explain them, is an opportunity for people, particularly focused on really hardworking families, who really need some help in maybe repairing credit,
Okay.
building their financial skills, access to workforce development so that they can earn more income,
Yes.
and things like
Yeah.
that. And so we want to
Great.
do a lot more communication about some of those things
That's
that we're
exciting.
doing. It's very exciting.
It's exciting,
Yeah.
yes. Those are all great things that really help our community.
Yeah,
Really do.
Yeah.
From
And
a
we're-
grassroots level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for joining
And
us
thank
today.
you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's been a
All right,
pleasure. It's been a
great.
pleasure working with United Way, and we certainly are proud to run the campaign for Springfield Public Schools for the employees of the district. We know that you
Correct.
guys have a lot of work to do, and it takes funds to do that, and so
That's
we
correct.
hope that you guys get a lot of the financial support that you need.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you
So-
very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you.
Great.
And remember, stay tuned for some information that's very interesting for you if you have young kids at home. Hola y bienvenidos a SPS Spotlight. Mi nombre es Azell Cavaan y hoy estaremos con la Assistant Superintendente Lidia Martínez. Y este es Lucilla Santana con más información.
Saludos, mi nombre es Lucilla Santana, coordinadora de Relaciones Públicas para las Escuelas Públicas de Springfield. Me acompaña Lidia Martínez, asistente superintendente para las Escuelas Públicas de Springfield, y cabe señalar que es la primera mujer hispana en tomar esta posición. Hoy hablaremos sobre 413 Familias, una campaña emocionante lanzada aquí en Springfield. Lidia, cuéntame un poquito más sobre 413 Familias.
413 Familias es una campaña en colaboración con las escuelas públicas de Springfield, con YMCA, con los Springfield Museums, los museos de Springfield, con la librería de Springfield, con la campaña de Quédese en la Escuela, con la United Way, con Reading Success by 4th Grade y con WGBY. Y es una campaña a donde le mandamos textos a la familia sobre las cosas que están sucediendo en Springfield, cosas educativas, eventos que son gratis para familias de Springfield y cosas sobre la salud que pueden ayudar a la familia con sus niños.
Excelente. ¿Y cuántas personas hasta el momento se han inscribido?
Más o menos como 450 familias se han inscrito.
Excelente. ¿Y cómo nos podemos inscribir?
El número está en la pantalla, pero yo se lo voy a dar. 4113 familia al 313131. Otra vez, le manda un texto, 413 familias al 313131. O si lo quieren hacer en inglés, le pueden mandar el texto 413 families al mismo número, 313131.
O sea que es una campaña bilingüe, tanto en español como en inglés. ¿Por qué lo hicieron así?
Exacto, Lucila. Es bilingüe porque sabemos que tenemos muchos padres que hablan español y muchos padres que hablan inglés, y también tenemos padres que hablan los dos. Así le dan a todos los padres la misma información para saber lo que está sucediendo aquí en Springfield. Es muy importante para nosotros que todas las familias se envuelvan en las escuelas.
Y hablamos de mensajes sobre la importancia de ir todos los días a las escuelas. Cuéntame un poquito más sobre eso.
La campaña es para dar la información, pero queremos acordarles a todas las familias que lo más importante es que los niños estén en la escuela diariamente. Es muy importante que estén en la escuela todos los días. La campaña va a ayudar con alguna de la información que está sucediendo, pero la información más importante se la dan a sus niños diariamente en las escuelas.
Lidia, además de tips e información sobre eventos, ¿qué más reciben las familias?
Lucila, de vez en cuando también tenemos premios. Por ejemplo, ya hemos dado ticket al Basketball Hall of Fame. Tenemos ahora una tarjeta para Barnes & Noble. De vez en cuando tratamos de hacer cosas diferentes para la familia porque es muy importante que reciban esta información. Escríbense.
Thank you for staying tuned. I wanted to give you some information about 413 Families. This is a fun new texting campaign that just launched in the city of Springfield that really is geared towards families with younger children in the schools and here in our city. This texting campaign pushes out about 2 texts a week, and it has good tips about health and wellness, what's going on in the city that's interesting for kids to do, and every once in a while there are even some opportunities for giveaways and contests. So if you want to be a part of 413 Families, all you have to do is text 313131 to 413 Families and start receiving the texts. The 413 Families texting campaign is made possible by the Springfield Public Schools, Springfield City Library, Springfield Museums, the YMCA of Greater Springfield, WGBY Public Television, the Stay in School Initiative with the United Way of Pioneer Valley, and Reading Success by 4th grade. Hello and welcome to another edition of SPS Spotlight. I'm your host, Azell Cavaan, Chief Communications Officer for Springfield Public Schools. Thank you for being with us. Today we are talking about AP courses. AP, which stands for Advanced Placement. Our high schools offer these courses, and we are here talking with Ann Ferreter, who is the Director of Language Acquisition for the district and oversees the AP course programs here in our district. I want to make sure you stay with us because at the end of this segment, we are going to be talking with 2 Central High School students who are AP students, and so we'll get to hear about the program firsthand and hear about their experiences. We'll also hear from a counselor at Central High School who works with students throughout their AP experience and also tries to educate kids about it, let them know this opportunity is out there. That's one of the things that we're really excited about this program for, is bringing awareness to the greater community about AP courses because they're so wonderful. They offer so much to the students. So thank you for being with us.
I'm delighted to be here, Azell. Thank you.
I guess the first question we have to ask you is, I'm going to take biology as an example. You're taking a biology course, or you might be taking an AP, Advanced Placement Biology course. What's the difference?
Well, the inherent difference is that the AP, Advanced Placement Biology course, will be actual college level coursework. So it's much more rigorous than the regular CP biology class.
Okay, CP, which would stand for?
College preparatory.
College prep. Okay, so a regular biology class is preparing you for college anyway, but an AP is like that class on steroids.
Correct. It's actually a college level course. The syllabi are reviewed by college and university professors. The AP is a program that is founded and auspicized by the College Board. So there's a lot of partnership and collaboration that goes on between the College Board, the colleges and universities, and the high school teachers and administrators.
So across the nation, AP biology courses, because we're just using that for example, they all look alike because they're all in line with what the College Board says should be taught and how it should be taught.
Right, and also heavily vetted by college and university staff.
Excellent. I know we're talking about biology, but are AP level courses offered in a variety of subjects?
There are currently, Azell, 37 advanced placement college level courses offered to high school students around the country. Everything from art and music to AP Chinese language instruction, many of your core science courses, mathematics, social studies, certainly English language arts, and most of the, if not all of the romance languages. So there's a huge spectrum of coursework that's offered at this advanced placement level.
Well, that's great because hearkening back to my high school years, math wasn't my strongest subject, so maybe I wouldn't take an AP course in that, but English was and history was. So if I take courses that I'm already strong in and seek out an AP course, that would probably be a good way to start.
It certainly would, and in fact, it would be a boon to your college application process, because the admissions, college and admissions staff are really interested in seeing what kind of rigor students pursue, and a student who's willing and academically prepared to do AP coursework is a student whose application they're going to value greatly.
And there's also a benefit that some parents might like, or at least their pocketbooks, right? When you go
That's
to
correct.
college and you have some AP courses on your
Yeah.
in your history. What's
Yes.
that about?
Well, another distinguishing criterion between regular college prep courses and AP is that the AP course culminates in a 3-hour-long exam that is evaluated and assessed independently through the College Board. And if there's the range of scores, it's 1 through 5, and a qualifying score is 3 or above. So many, for example, here in Massachusetts, the community college and the state university systems will consider a 3 as a passing grade. So
Okay.
students getting a 3 will either get college credit for that course right up front, or be exempt from taking that same course in college if it fits into their curriculum. Other colleges and universities, such as the Ivy Leagues, are looking for more for a 4 or a 5. But research shows, Azell, that even those students scoring 1s and 2s are more likely to persevere. They're more likely to graduate from high school. They're more likely to go to college and complete college in a 4-year, their bachelor's in a 4-year cycle.
That's great. And I'm sure colleges even look, if you have AP courses and you have some 3s, but you have some 1s and 2s, the fact that you, like you said, you persevered and you took that course, I'm sure that speaks well for you on your college application.
Exactly. And then the other piece is that those students who take AP are more likely to have, their GPAs are likely to be higher in college.
Okay, so are the courses weighted more heavily? If I
They
take-
are indeed,
okay.
yes.
Okay, so if I take a regular biology class and I get an A, I might get like, I don't know,
4.0.
4.0.
Right.
But if I score a 3 or get an A in an AP course,
It's weighted. It's above a 4.0.
about a
Yeah.
and that's why you hear of some kids graduating with
With
like
a-
4.6
That's
GPAs.
right. Correct.
Excellent. I know that here in the district, there has been a lot of work to expand the opportunities for AP courses, and students are answering that. There's been a huge increase
There has.
in the number of kids taking AP courses. Something like, we were talking about this before, how much?
Well, nationwide, the test-taking rate has increased by 200% since 1996. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and our numbers mirror that.
They do. They're
Yeah.
very, very similar.
Excellent.
Yeah, and the other big push by the College Board over, say, the last decade or so has been to expand access. So they're looking to recruit more students who previously were underrepresented, minority students and females, and there's also been, which is akin to what's happening nationwide, a bigger push towards the STEM subjects, the science, the technology, the engineering, and the math, and certainly getting more women to explore those as potential career areas.
I know Springfield Public Schools recently got an award from the College Board for our success in increasing the opportunities for AP courses to a greater number of students.
Minority
So that's
students,
great.
right.
Yeah,
Really
good.
excellent.
Now, Wendy, we're talking about college level courses. So when are you as a student eligible to start taking AP courses?
Well, here in Springfield, we actually have a fair amount of teachers at the middle school level trained in what's called pre-AP. So that's gearing students up for meeting the challenge of AP at the high school level. It's not uncommon for sophomores to start taking AP. There might be an unusual case of a freshman even, but certainly 11th and 12th grade is more, that participation from those grades is much more common.
So I'm a parent and I'm hearing about this for the first time, or I'm a student and I'm interested, I'm in high school. What's my first step?
Well, in our district, at our schools that offer AP, we usually have a kickoff event in the 9th grade.
Okay.
And so with the help of the guidance counselors and the administrators, we invite parents to come to, it's usually an after-school or early evening event where we offer refreshments, and we just sort of give an overview of what it is, because certainly 9th grade is not too early for these kids to be considering what they're going to be doing throughout their high school career. But again, the guidance counselors are well-versed because we've had such an increase in enrollments, and so they get a lot of information when the student's record comes from middle school, so they can sort of see the academic trends in the student's career, and hopefully, you know, influence them to consider this type of rigor. And also the teachers have a big, the 9th grade teachers probably would have a big role in alerting guidance that this student, a particular student, shows the promise of being successful at the AP level. There's also something called AP Potential, which we're working to sort of embed more deeply in the district. And that is a tool that the College Board provides, whereby we can look at the PSAT data of students and SAT data, and, you know, look at that data as a, perhaps to tell a story about the future potential, you know, of the student in the AP scenario, AP arena. Yes.
Excellent. So it sounds like in a lot of cases, educators reach out to students and parents, but also if you have a student who will be entering 9th grade, you want to be on the lookout to get information about this AP informational night so that you can go and learn more, and also, you know, you have your student contact their guidance counselor if they want to find out more information.
Correct.
So good. And we are actually going to talk with the guidance counselor next. She's our next guest, guidance counselor at Central High School, who's going to talk with us about her experience in working with kids in the AP program. So I want to thank you for joining us. And
Thank you.
I did want to ask you, your title is Director of Language Acquisition. I wanted to ask you exactly what that means and what are some of the things that you do?
Well, that's a great question. It's an unusual title, I think. I think the precursor was the Director of Foreign Languages or Director of World Languages. And I started here in the district back in 1999 as a high school Spanish teacher. And now I not only oversee the Foreign Languages Department, but I also oversee Advanced Placement Programming and the International Baccalaureate Program. And there's a huge
Which is
thread
at the
of
High School of Commerce.
Correct.
Yeah, great program there.
And there's a huge thread of literacy throughout, so it really connects to foreign and world languages. And I do a few other things.
Yeah, you stay busy.
I do.
I always see you flitting around the office. So thank you for taking
You're
time out
very
to
welcome.
join us.
It's been
and
a pleasure.
Arranging for our next guests to be
Great.
here. So good. Stay
Thanks.
tuned. Thank you for staying with us. As promised, we are joined by a school counselor from Central High School, Sarah Tarini. Thank you for taking time out to be here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Glad you're here. One of the many things that you talk with students about and sort of counsel them about is AP courses. So I guess the first question I want to ask you is, what kind of a student, what are the signs that you see that you say, I need to talk to this kid about maybe taking some AP courses?
Well, at Central, we definitely try to encourage every and all kids to challenge themselves. Yes, and specifically, we will look at data. It's big data driven. We take into account all of the teacher recommendations we get because we are of course not in the class with them all the time. We are in there for lessons, but we don't always see the kids, you know, in action in the classroom. So we very highly rely on the teacher's recommendations. We also get those students that may not have the highest of scores, but we see their potential. We take into account their interest. I've had many students come to me interested in a certain AP course. In that case, I will speak with them, speak with the teacher, and just kind of assess the level of, you know, how interested are they. Usually we're pretty spot on, so if the teacher and I agree on it, we will definitely let the kid into the AP class. We speak to parents as well because we want to make sure everyone's informed.
Right, because it's a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, kind of like what Ann was saying. So we want to make sure everyone's on board and that the students realize what they're getting into, but we highly encourage them to challenge themselves at all times.
What do you find is a common reaction from students when maybe you recognize something that they don't see in themselves? You said that you see the potential. So you say, we think you might be a good candidate for this AP course.
I think they get really excited. I've seen it before. Like you said, maybe it's something they don't see in themselves. So then when we point it out to them or say it's something we think they'd be good at, they seem really happy. And we do get the kids that aren't really sure and might shy away from a particular AP course, but we try our best to encourage them, and they do seem to enjoy it when we, praise them.
I think it's great, the whole breadth of subjects that you can take AP courses in. So there should be some interest level at some, one of those courses. So
we have a huge number of AP courses ranging from all different subjects, kind of like what Ann said. We even have them that you can take online if they don't actually fit in the student's schedule, mainly if they clash with another AP, which is the case for one of the students you'll be talking to after me.
Okay, great. And Ann had mentioned something about pre-AP. Do you work with that too?
Yes. Yeah. So pre-AP starts your freshman year. You can be recommended for it, and what happens is we are actually just finishing our schedules right now at Central High School. We're just about done. So we will take recommendations from the teachers and we go on scores as well. So we'll look at the PARCC scores, we'll look at the MCAS scores, and then we will weigh, should they be in honors? Should they be in a CP level? Or, should they be in that pre-AP honors?
So can you tell us honors, the order, like how it...
So it's CP, which is college prep, then honors, then the pre-AP, and actually we have an AP World History course going right now at Central High. So we do have freshmen taking an AP course right now.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And if you're a freshman taking AP courses, you're pretty much on that track.
Yes, for the most part, you are on that track, except, if something happens in class and we really feel like they're not performing and they're maybe not getting what they should out of it, and opposed to maybe going to a different level and them getting more out of it.
So you assess it. It's worth trying it, even if you just want to see, because if it's not a good fit, you can always go back to another class.
Yeah, we will discuss it with the students. If they are not recommended, sometimes we have them sign a contract because we want to promote that college-going culture, and we want them to attempt their best and, like I said before, challenge themselves.
What do you find is the biggest barrier to students having an interest in AP courses?
Sometimes if they're not recommended, and kind of like what I said before, if we, see their scores and they're maybe not up to par what we're looking for, those students may be really interested in a course and we might pass them by accidentally, and if they're not advocating for themselves, it's really hard. I love when my students advocate for themselves. They may not be recommended for an AP, but I see it on their course schedule sheet. They said, I went to this teacher and I spoke to them, and that's fabulous. That's great. So I love when they do that. So that's the biggest barrier, I think, maybe kids getting passed over and overlooked.
So advocate for yourself. If you're interested in it, bring it up. Talk to your counselor. Talk to your school counselor. It could be a fit for you. It may be something else, another area that you're directed to. But
yes.
Good. Great. Well, I'm excited to hear from our two students. They're two of your students.
They are.
Tell us their names.
So you will be speaking with Jasmine Gordon and John Fernandez.
Okay. So stay tuned. We're going to hear from two AP students. Thank you for staying with us. And now we're going to hear what AP is all about, student experiences. We are joined by two seniors from Central High School, Jasmine Gordon and John Fernandez. Thank you so much. They are taking time out of an AP course right now to be with us, so we're going to make this quick because they want to get back. Thank you guys for being with us. I'm going to start with you, Jasmine. How many AP courses do you take right now?
4.
Taking 4.
Yes.
And what are they?
I am taking AP English, AP US History, AP Chemistry, and AP Biology.
Okay, okay.
And the sciences come with labs, so.
So they're separate?
Yeah,
the lab
so
is
I'm
separate?
Technically taking 6.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay. And how many other courses are you taking?
Pre-calculus.
Okay. All right. How about you, John?
Well, I'm also taking 4, AP Chemistry, AP US History, AP English Literature, and then I'm also doing AP Statistics online.
Oh, you're doing the online course, which is something that we heard a little bit about a little bit earlier. So excellent. How did you guys first get aware of AP, and when did you take your first AP class?
I took my first AP class my junior year, I believe, and it was more of just a pipeline, from my pre-AP classes. So they pretty much see your grades and they let you know you would be a great candidate for AP, really think about it, and they pretty much like sign you up. If you're prepared, they're just like, go ahead, you can do it.
So you took pre-AP in 10th grade?
Yes.
Okay, and then you took your first AP in 11th grade. And how about you?
Well, my junior year, I took 3 AP courses. I took AP Psychology, AP Spanish, Language and Culture, and another AP English course. A lot to deal with, but it was manageable, definitely.
How do you manage? Because we already heard that AP courses are college-level courses, and you all are taking 4 college-level courses while being regular high school students. And we should say that not everybody who takes AP courses has to take 4. You can take 1 or 2. These are just extremely ambitious youngsters here, which is great. So tell me a little bit about the course, like the difficulty, the level of difficulty of rigor, and how you manage that.
So all of the AP courses are definitely more rigorous, and because seniors end earlier, we end a month before, everything is really packed tighter, not only because it's an AP course, but because we get out sooner. But what I always tell my friends is time management is so important, because we both do sports, and we have extracurriculars, and we volunteer, and we have a bunch of homework and things to study for, so time management I think is key, and just striving to learn, because that's what AP classes are about. It's not about the grades, it's not about the credit, it's about you wanting to learn.
Great tips. And what about you? Do you have any secrets for managing it all and making it all work?
Yeah, always I build a schedule ahead of time, so weeks in advance I have dates for tests, things I should do tonight, things I should do tomorrow night, and if I happen to have to put something off, just be aware of that and be aware of how much time I can allot to everything, just to make sure that I'm staying within my limits.
Yep. So again, that time management is critical.
Yeah, at Central they give us agendas, and they are like your life keeper.
That's it, huh? You follow that, use it a lot. What are your extracurricular and sports involvements?
I only play tennis, but I also do a lot of extracurriculars. I volunteered at Loaves and Fishes, and I do the youth advisory board. Yeah, with Hammond County. Focus Springfield is actually doing something with them, a PSA right now. I do Best Buddies, and we're both in the Gender Equality Club.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of extracurriculars at Central, and it's a lot of fun.
What about you, Jen?
Well, for the past 3 years, I've been doing cross country. In the past, I've also done track, and just this year I started swimming, so that was fun.
Wow.
I'm also involved in some clubs like Gender Equality, as Jasmine said. I'm also the secretary of Key Club, and I've also been a part of book club for the past 2 years.
I'm exhausted just listening to it. I am so glad that you guys came here today and gave our viewing audience an opportunity to see what Springfield Public Schools in action actually looks like. I think you guys are great ambassadors, not only for AP programs in our school district, but also for the city of Springfield, the high school of Central High School, and youth in general. You guys are doing great things. And I know you're in the middle of the college application process. And I know you guys have lots of applications out there because we already talked about that. So I wish you guys great luck in that area, and I know you're going to land on your feet and do well. What areas are you interested in pursuing in college, like for majors?
Biology, mainly pre-med.
So future doctor.
I've been looking into chemistry mainly.
Future scientist. So America's future, that's what we've been calling him around the studio here this morning. So thank you guys for being with us.
Of course.
Thank you.
And thank you for staying tuned. We hope you learned a little bit about AP opportunities in the high schools here in the city of Springfield, Springfield Public Schools, and we hope you'll give it some consideration as a parent for your student and as a student for yourself. I'm Azell Cavaan, and thanks for watching SPS Spotlight.